Welcome to the MLB Prop Pick Show. I'm your host, Jon Metler, powered by the Bat X. He's Derek Carty. Derek, how's your day going today?
Going pretty well so far. Busy with football coming up soon,
Yeah.
in the weeds. Baseball's still here, which is great. We have another month of it. And the board's not looking the best today, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah, good morning to the chat as well. I see morning all from JPC 4th. Hello to Milo. Let's get this weekend money from Hal. Reed Phillips made it just in time after dropping the kiddo off at school. My kiddo's going through the 4-month sleep regression right now. It is awesome. But let's get right into the picks here. We have one bet that there's like one kind of like rogue price. So I really want to get into these and get this out there before it moves. If you're new to the release procedure, we have 3 bets for you today. We're going to tell you what game we're betting on, the prop market, the team, the player, and then we'll have Derek break these down using those EV numbers there. So let's get right into it. We're going to Bet365. All 3 of our bets today are at Bet365. We're looking for Pirates, Red Sox, and we're looking for pitcher strikeouts. And our number is there, so let's do it. So we're going Paul Skenes under 6.5 strikeouts plus 128. Once again, that's Paul Skenes under 6.5 strikeouts plus 128. Derek, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a Paul Skenes under is going to be scary, but the bat knows who Paul Skenes is. Like, he's great. He's a really good strikeout pitcher. He's amazing. That's factored in, and we're showing value here anyway. The bat's projecting about 6.25 strikeouts for Skenes today. So at any kind of plus money, you're getting pretty good value here. This is the best number, but there's a 120 out there. There's a 115. There's a bunch of 110s. I think DraftKings has a 7.5. That's juiced. That's fine. There are a number of them out there. Skenes is facing a Boston Red Sox lineup that is, I don't want to say like, they're average for strikeouts. So we'll say they're average for strikeouts, but he's going into Fenway, which is a really, really tough park to pitch in. And that's really, I think, what this comes down to is that, tough park, hopefully gets knocked around a little bit, but really just the number is high for what we're getting. That's kind of all it is. I don't have a great reason why I hate Paul Skenes. It's just they're giving us good odds.
Yeah, it's basically all it comes down to all the time. Do you think we're kind of reaching that point where like the Pirates, I mean, Paul Skenes is an elite pitcher, but you're not in it by any means, and you kind of want to protect an arm. Like as it kind of rolls into September here, do you think we're kind of getting close to that point where they kind of start to dial his innings back or his pitch count back? Getting close to it?
Definitely possible. It's definitely possible with the Cy Young stuff. Like you don't know if they're going to give him a little bit more than they otherwise would. If it weren't for that, I'd say, you would expect them to dial him back a little bit.
Jason Wolf saying Carty movie markets just dropped from plus 120 to plus 1 or to even money on Hard Rock. Mr. Gerg says I bet Skenes under 17.5 outs at plus 120. Is the outs also showing an edge, or just like not really, or you like the strikeouts better?
Let me take a quick look.
The
outs are showing an edge at the 120 is okay. As you get closer down, it looks like most books are around even money. I don't really like it there.
Nice. Do you have the break even here for Paul Skenes as well? Or like the number you kind of stop playing it at?
On the strikeouts?
Yeah, on the strikeouts.
The 110s are fine.
Okay.
I prefer to get 115 if you can. But the 110s are fine. And then the 7.5 at like minus 140 is fine.
Okay. Yeah, because plus 110 was kind of the more common number I was seeing, but plus 120 is kind of rogue. Chris McCauley saying is 365 has dropped down to plus 110 there. So there you go. You knew that one was going to move on us as soon as we gave it out. So First one is Paul Skenes under 6.5 strikeouts plus 128 at 365. We're staying at 365. We'll move on to the second bet here. And we are looking for Orioles, Giants. Giants killed me yesterday. I had the Cubs on the money line. Willie Adames, 2 home runs. Didn't like that at all. But we're looking for pitcher outs. And our numbers also here. This is a good day. We're going Dean Kremer under 17.5 outs plus 120. Once again, that's the Orioles starting pitcher, Dean Kremer, under 17.5 outs plus 120. Derek, you want to break this one down?
Yep. We're looking at a below average pitcher facing a team that I feel like the market perceives to be bad right now. Like they haven't like done a whole lot of late, except yesterday when they screwed you over, apparently. But I think the Giants are actually a pretty decent offense. I don't think Kremer is anything special. The bat is projecting. Let me pull up Kremer real quick. Projecting about 16 and a quarter outs here. So this is like a 55% win rate or so. So if we can get it at plus 120, plus 115, maybe plus 110, I think we're getting some value here.
Is plus 110 the point where you'd stop here?
That's probably where I stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian Zeller saying Kremer has been really good outside of April. I remember because I bet a lot of home run props. I remember that early half of the season, like April, May, he was just serving them up. But like you can see now, I think his ERA is below 4. So he's definitely kind of turned around. Just less people paying attention to the Orioles too at this point in the season. So first,
but if you look under the hood, I don't think anything's really changed. I think he's kind of just a mediocre pitcher that has had, a good run of ERA luck more than anything else. His BABIP has been really low since April.
All right. So this second bet here is Dean Kremer under 17.5 outs plus 120 at Bet365. We'll move to the third one here, and we're going Marlins Mets, and we are looking for batter strikeouts or hitter Ks. And we're going 3 for 3 with our number being there. This is awesome. We're going Troy Johnston under half batter strikeout plus 215, plays for Miami Marlins. Once again, that's Troy Johnston under half batter strikeouts plus 215. Derek, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, facing Jonah Tong, top prospect coming up today. It's scary because his stuff is really good and he struck out everybody in the minors, but this is more about Johnston than about Tong. Tong is a young guy, so they've kept him on a pretty short leash in the minors. We don't know for sure what they're going to do in the majors, but they've had plenty of 70-pitch games for him. And Troy Johnston has a 70% pinch hit risk rate. So really what we're hoping is that he can avoid Tong a couple times through the order and then maybe wind up with 2 at-bats and get pinch hit for, which I think there is a really good chance of today, especially when you look at the composition of the Mets bullpen and who is rested, who is available, who's potentially not available. They have 5 guys who are basically, like fully rested. 2 of them are lefties, which is what we want here. One of them is Ryan Helsley, who the team thinks is tipping pitches. So might not even see him today if they're working on him. So I think there's a really good chance we see a lefty after Tong. And hopefully that means Johnston's done.
Question for you, not necessarily about this bet, but just because you brought it up, when you're doing baseball betting, do you like who's available and who's resting the bullpen? Is that a huge factor for you? Because I feel like for a lot of baseball bettors, it might be something they don't really like research or look into. They always look at the starting pitcher, but I feel like who's available in a bullpen, you never really know like what version of a team you're going to get. I feel like that's a massive factor for bettors. Is that something like you really pay attention to?
Yeah, it's something I built a model for earlier, in the early part of this season to really look at, okay, how does fatigue affect pitchers when they've, pitched this many days or thrown this many pitches, in recent, whatever, like what's their likelihood of being able to pitch again, today. And so that's in the bat now. You can, basically it does that for every pitcher that's on the active roster in the bullpen. And then it figures out, okay, the chances of who's available and everything else, and it mixes that together. That goes into the projections, on the bullpen side after the starter comes out. So yeah, I do think it can be kind of a hidden, underrated edge.
Yeah, I think so too. Like just from having like Tiger season tickets, like say you go to like 3 games in a row sometimes, and like you watch how the bullpens work. If you're not a fan of a team or you don't watch a team a bunch, you might not realize like the difference guys. Like if you're a Tigers guy sitting there and the guys in and out, you're like, not this guy today, but it's all we have, right? Because no one else is rested. So I feel like those are like big factors that sometimes it's hard to also grab. Like, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you might not know the athletics back end of the bullpen that well. So I feel like that's something you got to really look into and stuff, and you can find some edges there. So those are our 3 bets from Derek. Paul Skenes under 6.5 strikeouts plus 128. Dean Kremer under 17.5 outs plus 120. Troy Johnston under half batter strikeouts plus 215. I have 2 more bets coming up for you here, but after Derek leaves, but we will say goodbye to Derek. Derek, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for the bets, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one. Good luck.
All right, I got 2 more bets for you. So I only have 1 home run prop, and we'll do the home run prop first. So I'm going Jose Altuve to hit home run plus 480. There were like a lot of good weather spots today on the board and stuff, but it felt like, man, the board was really suffocating those ballparks and those prices. A lot of guys were just falling like 20, 30 cents below where, the point you'd want to buy them. So I only got the one for you today. If we're going indoors, we're going Jose Altuve. He's going against Tyler Anderson. Anderson's given up 28 home runs on the year, 17 to righties, 11 to lefties. He's actually way worse against lefties. There's not really just a left-handed bat in this Astros lineup that you could target. Yordan Alvarez has 3 homers against him, but he was trading like plus 240 and he just came off the injured list. So I didn't like that price point for Yordan Alvarez. So I'm going Altuve. He's faced him 30 times. He has 9 hits and 28 bats, 2 walks, and a home run. I feel like this should be trading closer to plus 400. So the 1 home run bet today is Jose Altuve to hit a home run. I'm also got a money line price, and it's not a homer bet. It was just showing an edge. I'm taking the Detroit Tigers plus 107 on the money line here. They're in Kansas City. They're going against Seth Lugo. I feel like there's so many times in like when you're betting money lines in baseball and you're looking at these markets where I feel like the starting pitcher really kind of swings the market. And if you're just looking at this on the surface, Seth Lugo has a full run ERA less than Chris Paddock, and Chris Paddock hasn't been that great this year. So it doesn't really make you want to take the Tigers. But when you look at this, like completely in terms of the whole pitching staff, like AJ Hinch pulled Paddock when he was throwing a good game last time out, also against the Royals after 5 innings. So he's probably not going to let him go too far. I think he's at like 70 pitches. And then the guys who are rested in the bullpen, Troy Melton hasn't thrown in 3 days. That's kind of like your long reliever. He's a really good pitcher. Kyle Finnegan, Will Vest, they haven't thrown in a couple of days either. So Tigers had the off day yesterday. So I feel like although Chris Paddock isn't the best starting pitcher, I feel like they have all the guys rested who could come in and kind of bridge that gap for them. Seth Lugo's also been absolutely terrible the last 4 starts. I think he's given up 8 home runs, and he has an ERA just under 9. So he's been historically pretty good against all these Tigers batters, but they just tagged him for 6 runs and 2 home runs the last game. Both Paddock and Lugo, both of their last starts came against the Tigers and the Royals there. So taking the Tigers on the money line. There was one more. I'll throw it out there. I didn't place the bet. There's no graphic. I might place it later, but I was just looking at it. I do like the Brewers plus 120. The only thing that was holding me back was Jackson Chourio they said he was in the minor leagues. They said he's going to play Wednesday, play 7 innings of outfield, and then he'd possibly rejoin them for the Blue Jay series. I don't know. I couldn't find anything else other than that. So I don't know if that means he's coming back tonight. Could be Saturday, could be Sunday. He also was 1 for 19 in the minor, so it doesn't make you totally love that angle. But I just felt like at plus 120, I feel like the Brewers should be like plus 110 if Chourio's out, but be about minus 105 if Chourio's in. Ideally, the best scenario is you get a tweet notification, Chourio has been activated, and you can still go grab that plus 120 and you get the best of both worlds there. So if Chourio is activated later, I probably will take the Brewers as long as I can find that plus 120 price point there. So just throwing that one out there. Probably be a tweet later for me if it does happen. So those are my 2 bets. Jose Altuve plus 480 to hit home run. Detroit Tigers on the money line plus 107. This concludes the MLB Prop Pick Show powered by the Bat X. Good luck with your bets. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy college football. See everyone next week.